Hey guys, today we're going to be sharing some awesome marketing tactics with you around viral contests and giveaways. And today I've got Cole here, who is a marketing genius. He heads up an agency called GroMo. And yeah, today we just want to sit down, have a chat, talk about, this cool marketing tactic for growing, leads, customers, social engagement. We can throw in a few Facebook hacks there. And yeah, we just really want to give you some examples, some knowledge, and I'm going to also share a little deck that we put together for this, so you can follow along. But Cole, maybe introduce yourself to a bit of a background, and yeah, we can get started from there.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jack. Yeah, so we started GroMo Agency a couple of years ago, and we work with medium to Fortune 500 brands. We do a lot of out-of-the-box type of marketing. Social media is one of our really big focuses for our clients.
Mhm.
And so anything that we can do from a growth hack standpoint obviously helps our brand succeed extremely well. One of the things that we looked and searched and scoured the internet for was a solution for contest marketing. And you know this, Jack, I mean, there's lots of different types of contests that are out there, but we had never seen anything like what VYPER had to offer. It had, just the one-stop shop, the ability to plug in and really give someone a very easy, straight tactic of gaining different types of leads, gaining different types of goals that you had, different KPIs, all the way around was just over the top,
Nice.
more advanced than anything we had seen before.
Okay. Awesome. So just schedule that we're going to go over. I'm not going to keep you too long. Just want to be straight to the point, tactics, actionable stuff. So first, we're going to go over a little bit of why you should probably listen to us in terms of marketing, a little bit of experience that we've had and been through. We're going to show you the 6 best contest marketing tactics that we've used in previous campaigns, which we've seen in customers and clients and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to quickly show you maybe a case study or two, an example, how a contest works. And then we'll go into, Q&A between Cole and I about anything that might be on either of our minds that we want to ask each other. So first off, I just want to sort of point out what the kind of like the high level issues are that we're trying to solve with contest marketing, because it's not very obvious that people are going to do a contest or a giveaway straight up. People usually go to, okay, I need to start a blog, I need to find an influencer, I need to start running ads. But all of those things can be amplified and touched using incentivization gamification. So the main issues that we see people having in their business, and which is preventing them from scaling, is it's slow growth. So giveaways and contests can help you overcome that. You need to get a lot more creative with your marketing. So we're going to go into this a little bit more later, but you'll see how you can use contests and giveaways to be a lot more creative with your marketing. People aren't necessarily just going to be happy about sitting in front of your banner ads saying, hey, I sell product X, you should buy product X. People aren't really responding to that anymore. There's banner blindness, there's issues with ads hitting fatigue. It's very hard to now capture someone's attention because it's such an over-communicated society that we live in. So you want to get a little bit more creative with your marketing, which we'll show you how to do. And then the other thing is, a lot of campaigns can only optimize to one KPI. We're going to show you how you can do multiple things. So you can collect emails, build your social following, and engage potential customers all in one campaign. So you really can focus on one thing, which is going to affect multiple KPIs or areas of your business. And the last thing, of course, which we love, is people taking action. We want to gamify and incentivize all the way so that we are getting people to do the things that we want them to do in exchange for what we're going to show you is contest entries. So I'm just going to do a quick kind of bio about sort of why some of the things I'm going to say might be of interest to you. My background is in paid media. I spent over $150 million on Facebook and Instagram ads, 6+ years of experience, co-founder of VYPER, and I've helped multiple companies and clients and all that sort of stuff jump all the way up to 100,000 or 50,000 plus emails from one campaign. Cole, do you want to do a quick run over? I know you did it briefly to start with, but maybe just what your experience is so people know why they should be listening to you.
Sure. So I've worked at multiple agencies. This is my second agency to own. I've been at C-level at multiple other agencies. I worked at one of the first social media agencies that ever existed when brands really started to adopt social media. Years of experience, I've worked with every type of brand that you could imagine, from e-commerce to, B2B, any big brand that you've ever seen, I've touched at some point in my life. And then also, I'm a family guy. I've got 3 kiddos that just drive me crazy, but love them to death.
Nice. Okay, so these are some boring stats that you guys will probably know, but organic reach is on the downhill, open rates are on the downhill, and people are no longer doing things for free. So today we're going to show you how to turn all of those things around. So let's jump into the tactics. Now I'm going to show you quickly an example of a contest so you kind of get an idea of what it actually is. So here I'm just going to open this up. I'm going to close down some of these because they are super annoying. But yeah, this is essentially a contest here. And the way a contest works is you put forward a prize. So say you're the company, you put forward a prize. In exchange for that prize, people will enter your contest, and they'll do things that you ask them to do in exchange for entries. So you can literally just sign up here, and we'll say test, and you can add in all sorts of capture forms, or you can remove them. But essentially you sign up to a contest, and then the beauty of this is that now that they are signed up, we use gamification to get them to, one, try and get to the top of the leaderboard by doing multiple things for us. One is sharing our contest. So when people share the contest, they enlist other people into the contest, they get rewarded. And then the other thing is you can also incentivize other actions, like getting people to retweet stuff, join lists such as Spotify, listening to your webinar, all sorts of things here, share on Facebook, all sorts of things you can do here. And the best part is on this landing page as well, you get a quick reminder of all of the prizes that you can win. You can win by a placement, you can win by a random winner, or you can do milestone winners. So Colin and I'll go into a little bit more about like the secrets of running a good contest. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what it was first before we jumped into it. So let me get back to the first tactic here. So now that you've kind of like understand what a contest is, everything that it does, a few things you want to keep in mind. When you are marketing your contest, you want to tap out your immediate sort of, I suppose, audience first. So this is like friends, families, co-workers, your LinkedIn connections, the groups that you engage in, your email list. You want to add your contest to your website, put it on your social channels, all that sort of stuff. Cole, is that kind of where you start when you are sort of like launching a contest and you want to get your initial seed round of people in? Or what do you usually
do? Yes. Right after we decide what we think the goals are going to be for the contest, distribution is everything. I mean, that's what creates the virility cycle. And Jack, I think you've said this before in the past, but we know that, on average, people on social have usually about 1,000 people that they're connected with. So, and we know that a certain number of those people will for sure do and share based on if they see and they have the contest prizes have high perceived value. So based on that, that really creates that virility cycle. So the initial group that you have for distribution is probably the most important. That's really what's going to create, and you've said this in the past too, it's going to create that that red rope effect, that social that's already on, your initial posts and things like that, to give the first real big push and boost to the virility of the contest.
Yeah, and obviously some people are going to start with smaller kind of like direct audiences that they can market to. But, as you do like 1, 2, 3 contests or whatever, you're going to keep building the size of that initial audience. So it's going to keep growing every time you do something. So if you're just getting started, don't worry too much about how small that audience is. You're going to grow it over time. And contests and giveaways are a fast way to do it, as opposed to, organically trying to grow your brand with content marketing, that sort of stuff. Or also it's a lot cheaper than if you're going to try and run ads to build your seed audience up. So yeah, just keep that in mind as the first step that you should possibly do when you've got a contest that you've created and you're looking to market. The next section is, kind of like an amplifier. So the biggest tactic here is to leverage that incentivization that I showed you by using those bonus actions. So the bonus action is, okay, if you do something, I'll give you some entries into our contest. The more entries you have, the higher the chance you have of winning, or once you have enough entries, you unlock a prize, that sort of thing. And so this is where you want to combine ads and your contest together. So when you run an ad, that's going to bring in a bunch of prospecting traffic. So people who have never heard of your brand. And so you want to start by that, but you want to start with your core audience again. So, run some ads to your, people who visited your site in the last 180 days, past purchases, past lead list, that sort of thing. And then you build up a little bit of social validation, you get the ad rolling. And then in your contest, one of the bonus entries that you're going to want to add is go and like, share, and comment on this post. Now, this here is an example that we did on a travel blog contest. So we started off with our really core audience and we spent like maybe $50 on, past purchases and that sort of stuff, or past readers of the blog. And then we made it a bonus entry in the contest. And you can see here, we got, 52 comments, 102 shares, and a ton of likes. And I think we spent in total maybe, this whole campaign, $100. And this resulted in something like 30, 40%, I think it was 30 cent to 40 cent cost per leads. The other thing here is that we have, a little bit of a process that we follow here to create really good ads. One is to use video. Video is really good. You want to use emojis. So you can see here, we're using these emojis here to show, prize winners. And we want to show that the link here is customized to the contest. And you've got two opt-ins. So you've got your opt-in down here, and you've also got your link here. And the other really big thing with running ads for contests is you want to test the creative as much as possible. So test a shot of the prizes that they're going to win, test a shot of you and your personal brand, test a more personal one where it's you just recording and talking about the contest and showing off the prizes. So it's like a lot more bootstrapped, but it's like really interesting because it's on social, that sort of thing. Is there anything you want to add to, running paid media to contest, Cole?
Yeah, a couple different things. I mean, the first thing, you hit it on the nail, is, when you build up that first initial audience and you link it to this organic post that you created and then use ads to optimize it, is the social proof aspect. Obviously, if you see, a new brand you're not affiliated with, when you extend your ads into new audiences after you've done your research to figure out who you want to target and what different groups, running it off that initial post, if it has, a decent amount of social proof, if someone sees that and they're not familiar with the brand, they're going to say, wow, like this already has a lot of engagement. People are already liking it. It creates that red rope effect in the matter of, hey, wow, this must be something that's really interesting and compelling. I'm going to check this out. Versus if you just start your ads without doing that and making it an additional bonus entry point, and have no likes, comments, and shares that already exist, your cost per conversion will be much, much lower.
Yeah, so just to remind you guys, these are the bonus entries here. And the one we're talking about is you can have like your page. This contest doesn't have it, but the other Facebook stuff that you could do is join a Facebook group, join a messenger list, that sort of thing. But you can see here, you can add like, share, and comment on a Facebook post. And so you can give some instructions on how people can go do that to unlock their entries, just to give you a bit of context there. All right, so I'm going to go into the last tip that I have for you guys, and then Cole's going to take over with his tips. But the other thing is to optimize your contest. So when you're deciding on what those bonus entries are, you can, the way that we've set it up, there's, 100 templates or something, 100 different things you can ask people to do. So, but obviously if you give someone 100 things to do, they're not going to do any of them because they get too overwhelmed. So you really want to
Yeah.
prioritize what is important to your company and then put those up the top. You can obviously rearrange all these and that sort of stuff. So put the most important stuff up the top of your bonus entries list so that the majority of people are seeing those first and doing those actions first. So in this case, for example, this might be a video or someone who's heavy on video content. They want to build their Instagram channel and their YouTube channel. They're not too focused on Twitter or Facebook. So you want to put those ones up the top here and incentivize those actions first. I highly encourage you to also swap out the bonus entries throughout your contest. So you might have, repost a photo on Instagram up the top for the first week of your contest. And then you're like, okay, I want to now prioritize a comment on my YouTube video, then move that one up to the top and the Instagram one down. The other thing that you want to do is actually notify people when you add new bonus entries. So someone might sign up to your contest in week 1, and then you might introduce another entry in week 2. So you'll want to make sure that you email everybody in your contest to say, hey, there's a new there's a new entry that's been added. The other sort of things you can notify people is like, hey, for the next 48 hours, we're doubling the number of we're doubling the amount of entries on this bonus action, that sort of stuff. So the main point here is to optimize your contest by making sure you prioritize your bonus entries, because this is where you can really take your contest past a lead gen tool. And 2, you want to make sure that you're keeping the communication and engagement up in your contest. So you want to really make sure people are coming back to that contest constantly to do actions, refer other people, and share your contest. Was there anything that you wanted to add in that optimization of contest, Cole? I know you guys have done a ton.
Yeah, a couple different things. The first thing is, when we plan out the contest, it really depends on what your goals are. But when we plan out a contest, this is probably one of the most important steps in the fact that if, VYPER is great that it has the ability to have so many different bonus entries or different points of conversion, whether it's to grow your social media or it's to get them to one specific piece of content. But that being said, be picky about giving people very specific options or very specific points of conversion, because if you give them too many, you're going to overwhelm them, at least up front. For us, Facebook shares on the initial post that we're really trying to utilize for ad units, that's probably one of the most important things that we put at the top first. Yep. For us too, for most of our brands or for our clients, we're utilizing this for social growth as well, because you're getting their email address right up front and they're confirming it, and then you're getting them to share, like for instance, the Facebook post. So that's creating your virality, that's helping with distribution. Next is you want to grow those people in your social community, so you have another channel that you can communicate with them after the contest is over. Because usually the goal isn't just about running this one contest. It's about what happens after the contest is over. What kind of conversions are we trying to actually achieve by growing this community?
Got it. But yeah, let's jump on to the next one. So we'll keep it rolling.
And that rolls us right specifically into influencer networks. So, we mentioned it a little bit a second ago, but we make a group of different influencers, and influencers these days can be a lot of different things. Sometimes they have huge Facebook following, sometimes they have a blog system or a huge email following, and sometimes they have all of that. So one of the things that we like to do too, when it's time for us to pick the different prizes that we want, a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to buy a trip to Hawaii to give away, or I don't want to give away, thousands of dollars of prize stuff. What if that's not the right, what if somebody doesn't actually win it for it? I don't get enough contestants. And we never see that happen. And instead, what we do is, we utilize that we know an influencer is usually going to win the contest because they have so much reach, to negotiate out for a lot of our clients the prizes themselves. In a past contest, we had a very luxurious trip, but we actually talked to boutique hotels, travel agencies in that specific area, let them know, hey, there was an influencer who's going to win a big contest, because anyone who wins the contest is going to automatically be an influencer because of their reach. And we'll also give you a bunch of additional products to fill the hotel with and things like that. And so usually we can get a discounted rate on that prize pack if it's something that's outside of just the initial product or something like that that has really high perceived value. It didn't cost us an arm and a leg for the brand to be able to utilize.
Yeah, that's genius. I haven't even thought of that yet, but that's a really good tip. Playing off everybody in the scenario, the influencer, the brand, to leverage your own company. Yeah, it's really clever.
Yeah, and we use those. I'm just a touch too. I mean, we even ask the influencer too after the contest is over to capture content, because usually influencers are good at capturing visual content and allow us to use it for the brands afterwards as well.
Yeah, that's really good. Definitely. So I think this is the last tip. But yeah, using niche communities. What's involved in that?
I mean, that's mainly Facebook groups, I would say, are the biggest ones. We're running a contest right now, a turnkey solution for a new product for people who have cats. And so we've tapped into a lot of groups that, love cat memes or cat pictures or share, anything about their cats, because that's a very specific audience and they're usually very polarized. So we talk to different admins of groups or page owners of groups and work with them to help us push the message out. So we're not just someone in the group posting the message. We'll actually negotiate out. A lot of times, if it adds value to their community, they'll just do it in kind trade, because we're giving them really great content to share onto their page or onto their to their group page. So letting the admin actually send it out versus just us coming in as someone who isn't already a part of that community goes a lot further, and it notifies everyone on those groups and pages for the most part, especially if they're highly engaged with those pages. That's just because that's how Facebook's algorithm works. So that's how we utilize niche communities.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm sure, I'm sure these niche communities go past Facebook groups as well. I know Reddit is another great one, but it's probably another webinar in itself, battling Reddit.
It is, and it's really important. It's key that you say that, because Reddit has influencers too. And if you're someone new, and I know a lot of times from a marketing standpoint, we all talk about Reddit and we encourage people to utilize Reddit, because there's this huge group of audience that's very not only authoritative with their within their own group, but it's very niche. And that's a hard group to tap into. But if you find someone who already has a huge following on Reddit and has the ability to share out something that makes sense for them to share out, it usually has insane amounts of reach that other platforms can't get to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's a ton of great platforms out there with highly engaged people who are willing to share content or take actions in exchange for winning prizes. But yeah, so I just wanted to also kind of lay out the process. Like, people always sort of think, oh, well, I don't have time to do a contest or giveaway, that sort of thing. And they always put such a big emphasis on like how much more effort it's going to be compared to setting up another Facebook campaign and maybe spending, some money on Facebook ads instead. So usually we see this is kind of like the time range. There's a month period where that involves it depends how proactive you are, of course, but we usually see 1 week to plan and build the contest. And then you usually run the contest for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and then follow-ups and sales are in that last week. I can share this deck with everybody and stuff afterwards, but that's usually the process we see. Cole, what's the process you follow with setting up contests, and how long it takes and that sort of stuff?
Sure, we do it at a faster rate for setup, just because we have a turnkey process that we've worked on for a while now for brands. But the first thing is we do a very similar step, which is playing the contest, and that's really where it comes down to thinking about who's our target audience. Usually when we're running a contest for most brands, sometimes they've already had some growth, but usually it's a brand that is just starting to come to market. So what we like to do is really understand who's our target audience, what is the kind of message that we're going to say to them, what are our goals, not just for the contest, but what are our goals after the contest. And I think a lot of people, you might forget about that. They're so focused on just the contest itself. It's like, what am I going to do with all these people after I I gain all these followers and all these email addresses, I need to make sure that I'm specifically asking to do the right call to action. So we have a little process document that we go through that in our discovery meeting. We kick off right before we kick off a contest, plan all of that out. Launching the contest, I think the big things for launching a contest are really thinking about, like you were saying, what kind of special calls to action that we're going to ask, like special bonus entries that are in that. We try not to overwhelm them. Like I said, we like to be very specific, and we drip different types of calls to action throughout the contest based on different KPIs we establish with our client before the contest even starts. So I think that's really important. And not, trying to do too much. I mean, we like to keep it simplistic in the fact that for us, it's usually followers, email addresses that we're going to turn into conversions right after the contest is over. I think those are the really big things that we usually hit on from a contest standpoint.
Yeah, so I do have a few follow-up questions with that. We can quickly have like a quick fire question Q&A thing. If you've got questions for me, feel free to ask. I've got a few questions for you. So one, just some common questions that I usually get is like, how do you monetize these contests? Like, great, you can set up the contest, get a bunch of followers, get a bunch of emails, but then how are you sort of like monetizing, or how are you making the ROI back on that contest?
Yep, that's a great question. So it all depends on the client, right? So let's say we're talking about an e-commerce client, because we've run a lot of contests for e-commerce clients lately. That's the first question that the brand asks. Can I get them to buy something right now? You can, but that's not really a good process. A better process is to utilize it to really build up a list of targeted people. And Jack, you've said this before, having a prize that not only has high perceived value, but it has high perceived value for the target audience that we're trying to bring in. Like if we're working with an apparel company and they're outdoorsy, the prizes should align, even if it has high perceived value, with being outdoors. That's going to polarize the audience for people who aren't necessarily a person who would be an outdoorsy apparel product purchaser versus someone who's not. Building up the audience, as far as our email addresses specifically, are really key for us in the sense of maybe we're building it up because we're about to have a new product release. And if you look at our case study that we have on the fully managed services page of VYPER, you can see that we were working, one of our initial brands that we kicked off contests with were a brand that was an outdoor shoe. It's a summertime shoe, similar to a EVA foam product. And they first came to us because they wanted to figure out how to push their first generation of product. They wanted to do discounted emails, and we thought that was not a solid idea in the sense of if you just discount a product just to move into the next generation of product, your whole product and your brand's gonna have low perceived value. A better scenario would be, let's run a contest and let's give away gift cards. And that's what we did. We gave away random gift cards anywhere between $10 and $100. And the majority of our audience got those gift cards. Well, what do you do if you have a gift card? You make a purchase, and we used it for that first generation to move product. So the discount we gave in a gift card was actually a lower amount than our client even wanted to initially give a discount on the shoe, but it had higher perceived value in the sense of, wow, I won a prize. We made them feel really special too. And we sent them that email like, wow, you're a winner, and make sure you use this for the product, with direct links back to the contest too. So in that scenario, we did actually sell product. Usually we try to focus on doing it after the fact with the large amount of social community we build or the large amount of email lists that we build. And we usually have a process to roll our clients right in from after the contest is over into whatever that goal is.
Yeah, so you mentioned you usually do social following and email. Have you sort of explored building Facebook groups or messenger lists or any of that sort of stuff? You started getting into that?
A little bit, only if it makes sense for our clients. Some of our clients it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to do a Facebook group for. Some it does. So a little bit, if it's someone who's not necessarily a product specific, like B2B is a great example. Most B2B people or clients that we have, making a group for them that's highly engaged is awesome, because they can share content back and forth with each other as long as it's relevant and you approve it, as well as you can feed in content to them too. So building up a group for them in a contest scenario is a brilliant idea. For some of our other clients, we want to focus on trying to push getting as many, social followers or as many emails as possible. So we try to be actually more specific with the types of bonus entries that we add, because we want it to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. We know that really only happens if people continue to share and compete with each other to do that.
Yeah, I think the gamification aspect is super important, and people just love competing against each other. The other thing I wanted to ask quickly before we, wrap this up is, when someone's thinking about how much should I give away, they're not really sure what they should do. Do you have any kind of process you follow for choosing a prize that's within your sort of, budget? So it's we've had people who have gone on and collected, 300,000 emails by giving away a round trip to Prague or something. And that's obviously cost him $5,000 or something for that prize. But if you're just getting started and say you have, less than 5,000 subscribers, and you're looking to start a contest, do you have any suggestions in how to choose a good prize and how big that prize should be to still make it attractive enough for people to join and do all those actions, but not too expensive that you're going to lose a ton of money on it?
Right. So we usually use a tier system of prizes. So we usually pick 3. Usually the top prize has high perceived value. And you've touched on this before in the past, Jack. I mean, high perceived value doesn't mean that it has to actually be expensive. It just has to have perceived value to the client. So I gave you a scenario about in one of the contests we ran. Not only did we make sure that the prize aligned with our target audience, it was an apparel company. There was the trip was in a place that most outdoorsy, adventure type people would want to go. It's not something that, and it's very, warm and inviting, and it fit perfectly with our client's product because they were a summer shoe. In that scenario, like I told you, we negotiated with different travel agencies and different boutique hotels because we knew an influencer was going to win that contest, and it cost us less than nothing almost. In fact, we even created relationships with those companies to extend both content after the contest was over and share audience after the fact. So, for what we ended up actually having to trade in that scenario, it was very little because we had something that had perceived value to the person who's giving us the prize as well. The second type of prize that we usually offer is something that has more to a call to action that does something. Like the gift card scenario is a great scenario, like having a gift card and telling them that we're going to give away randomly, 10 to 100 gift cards, but giving everyone a gift card for at least $10. If someone has a gift card, the chances of them, the percentage of conversions that we had from actually using that has really high perceived value. And then you're relating back to your initial product, and then you're actually making sales from it through the contest. Usually the last prize that we give away is usually product, and maybe a lot of times we try to talk our clients into giving at least a random prize away every day. And we're choosy about who we decide to pick randomly. A lot of times we'll look at maybe someone who's more of an advocate, like the middle tier of audience. So, or sometimes it's an influencer. Sometimes we can get even smaller influencers by just, picking them because they've done already so much to achieve, or so many actions in the contest anyway. Or we think that they would help push that contest. We encourage them to enter and then usually give them one of those random prizes as an in-kind trade to help push the contest along.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is the prize for those lower tier accomplishments, collect 500 entries, unlock a free guide, or unlock a phone call with a consultant for something if you're a SaaS company. Unlock a checklist, a packing checklist if you're a travel company. There's a bunch of stuff that you can also create that's digital and it's not going to cost you money as well, which we've seen used quite well in the past. But anyway, Cole, I won't leave you too much longer. If anybody is interested in running a contest, check out VYPER.io. If you are short on time and you don't think that you have the capacity to run a contest, but you really want to get involved and grow your business, definitely check out our managed services, which we do with Cole. They're an unbelievably cool agency that crushes Facebook ads, influencer stuff. They do the lot and extremely good at running contests with us. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Cole. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, just I appreciate your time today, Jack. And if anybody is thinking about that, at minimum, go in and fill the form out on the managed services form. The first thing we do is a discovery meeting, just to understand what your goals are and just the value you get out of that right off the bat. It's huge. So I encourage you to tap into us to be able to do a turnkey VYPER contest.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Cole. And yeah, I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Thanks, Jack. Talk to you later.
All right.